Take a wild guess at who didn't check the tide times. Or bring sunglasses. Correct.
A big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this week's video. If you need a website or a domain, go to squarespace.com/James for 10% off your first purchase.
Just waiting for the tide to go out so I can go onto the island. What a muppet. I've been here dozens of times, but never mind. Anyway, while we wait, I think there is one kind of image that makes me think about the concept of time more than any other. And I'm sure plenty of you will be familiar with this. It's this. I don't know if you can see that all that well. Is it in focus? But yeah, basically, Emily and I, we're having a second child. We're very excited about it. I want to know if it's a boy or a girl, but we found out with Noah. And Emily didn't want to know that time, and I did. So this time we're not finding out because Emily doesn't want to know. I spent the entire scan trying to work it out. I couldn't tell if I was looking at a kidney or a toenail though, so it wasn't very successful. Anyway, parenting, and parenting isn't the only example of this, but it's a good one. Parenting is a really weird thing in that overnight, you are no longer the most important thing in your own life. And that, even as someone who takes photos for a living, has an impact on, for example, how much time I have to take photos. And there are many a morning where I'm in my kitchen looking at a nice sunrise with Noah, and I'll be covered in yogurt, basically. And since Noah was born 3.5 years ago, there have been some things that I've learned and implemented with regards to time management that, well, today I thought I'd share. I appreciate that probably sounds quite boring. I hope it's not. Please stay with me. I reckon I probably saved myself about 9 minutes by taking my shoes and socks off, but as we'll come to, that could be important. Now, my initial plan was to film this video about 10 days ago, the day of that scan actually. I came here to Anglesey. I was just a couple miles further north, and there was a giant storm. It was phenomenal to photograph. I had a great time, spent the whole day out, got completely covered in salt, as did my cameras, and it was marvelous. The problem is that those conditions are not ideal for trying to record audio. Oh! Whoa! But yeah, that day, and ever since that scan really, time and the use of time as a photographer has been very much on my mind. Kind of an obvious shot. Light's not ideal. I mean, the light's beautiful, just directionally, the light's not ideal. I love coming here. I should probably apologise for the fact that I'm back, but I just love it. This is the first time in about 3 years I wish I had a polarizer on me. I'd say the first sort of time management thing that I want to talk about is almost a bit embarrassing because it's so obvious, but basically I actually realised it before Noah was born, as we were preparing for going to the hospital for him to be born. Because I kept looking in the couple of weeks before he was born at the bag that we had by the front door for the hospital and thought, that's a brilliant idea. Why would I not apply that to other things in my life, such as my camera bag? Why would I not always have my camera bag just ready to go at the drop of a hat, so that if I do get a spare half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that, I'm good to go. I don't need to spend 15 minutes of that putting my batteries back in my camera, making sure the SD card has got enough room, all that kind of stuff. I can just go. And genuinely, that has been a really big help. Wish I'd realised it quite a lot sooner. Daft, really. If you've not seen this place before, it's good, isn't it? Gets better as the sun goes lower too. Although that goes for a lot of places. Is he going to get on the wall? I don't know. I'll keep an eye on him. In the meantime, another thing that has really helped my time management. I've kind of spoken about before on this channel years ago, I think, but basically it's all to do with knowing where I want to shoot and when. Now, when I've spoken about it previously, I've spoken about the system I have whereby if I get to a location and I think, oh, this would be good in different conditions, I'll take a photo on my phone. I don't really feel the need to demonstrate that. You know what that looks like. Hang on. Now, it'd be better in walking along the wall, I think. Anyway, I take a picture on my phone, and then when I've taken that picture on my phone, I automatically have the GPS location of it. That photo then goes into a folder which is named based on the conditions that I think that location would work in. Winter storm, summer sunset, that kind of thing. And these days I take that one step further by pinning my Google Map locations, again, based on the conditions that I think those locations would work for. He's back. I absolutely can't remember where I got up to with what I was talking about. But if I finished, and I think I did, that is a system that seems to work quite well for me. I'll look out the window at the weather if I've got some time to go out and shoot, or I'll look at the forecast, and then I'll look at the corresponding folder on my phone. Or I'll look at my Google Maps to see what locations I think match up to the conditions. And that just means that I tend to go and shoot in places that at least I've thought previously would work well in the conditions I'm being presented with. They are having the longest chat in the wrong place. If I went and stood over here, or is he going to move? Yeah, I'm still stood here, which actually leads quite neatly into the next thing I want to talk about, which is the cost of perfectionism. I mean, really the reason that I'm stood here still, having got a shot that I'm broadly happy with, is that I'm hoping to improve that shot by, I don't know, 5–10%. I suppose the light is a bit softer now. We might get a more interesting subject going across the wall. The tide is coming a bit and there's no light on the beach, which could be a good or a bad thing. But broadly speaking, I'm hoping to incrementally improve the photo I've already got. And the question is, should I be spending this time going and getting a photo that I don't already have, rather than trying to marginally improve one that I do already have? And I've spoken about this in previous videos. I spoke last summer, I think, about what I called the 5-minute rule, whereby I'll rock up at a location like this and I'll wait 5 minutes, and if something happens, I reset the timer and I'll go another 5 minutes until something doesn't happen, and then I'll call it a day, because after that I decide that the juice probably isn't worth the squeeze. I could be waiting there all day and nothing might happen, and I should go somewhere else to find a shot. And of course this all comes down to personal preference, doesn't it? Sometimes you get photographers, and I'm not one of them, but you get lots of photographers who are happy to wait all day in one location for one shot. And that's neither right nor wrong, but yeah, having this judgment about the cost of perfection and whether or not it's worth it, I suppose, is an important one. Here come two people. Next thing I would say is that I have spent obscene amounts of my life willing the conditions to be something that they're not. And I'll go to a place that I really, really want to shoot in, hoping that the light's going to be better, that there'll be more people around, less people around, whatever it might be. And you just can't force it. And so I've learnt that if the conditions aren't what I want them to be for any particular location, I won't go to that location. Instead, I'll scout and find new locations in the hope of avoiding not knowing where to go when the conditions are good. It's been a hard lesson, that, and I don't always remember it. But scouting is time well spent, always. Probably the most photographed thing in North Wales, that lighthouse, and for good reason. It's nice, isn't it? But I've shot it hundreds of times, so today I'm just admiring the sunset. And there's no wind. Usually it's blowing a gale here, so I'm enjoying that too. Anyway, the last thing I want to talk about with regards to time management is a quote. And I can't remember who to attribute that quote to, but it goes something like, "Don't leave until tomorrow what can be accomplished today." And I can't tell you how many times over the past 3 or 4 years that has been applicable to my life. The number of times I've had a 2-day window to go and film a video, go and do some shooting in a particular location, I've thought to myself, right, the weather looks the same for the next 2 days, so I'll just go tomorrow. I'll be more prepared tomorrow. Lo and behold, tomorrow comes, I've had a sleepless night, and Noah is ill, and I can't go and shoot. So yeah, if the conditions look good today and you have the chance to shoot something you want to shoot today, go and do it today, because you don't know what'll come up tomorrow. And I appreciate I'm making a point about productivity while I'm just sat on my backside admiring a sunset, not taking photos, but yeah. Anyway, they're my bits of advice for making the most of your time when you have no time.
I suppose another potential solution that would give me a bit more time to take photos would be if Noah and maybe the baby were into photography themselves, because then they could just come with me. It's going to be a while though, I think, before that's an option, because I don't think Noah has the attention span for photography just yet. I think had he been with me, if he'd seen those ponies, he'd have tried to mount one of them. Would have been a disaster. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope some of that was useful. And a big thank you to the sponsor of this week's video as well, Squarespace. Now, I have just put together my February newsletter. This one is all about my complicated relationship with travel photography and how when I'm taking photos in places that I don't have a massive connection to, well, I don't always end up with a massive connection to the photos. That's broadly what this one's about. But it didn't take me long to put together, thankfully, because I don't have much time. And like everything on Squarespace, when you're putting together a newsletter, or perhaps you're adding photos to your portfolio, or perhaps you're adding products to your store, it's seamless. It's quick, it's easy. You don't need to know a single line of code. And I've been using Squarespace for 7 or 8 years, and I couldn't recommend it enough. And so if you're somebody like me who has very little time, if you like things to just work, if you're not technically minded, and if you want somewhere to showcase your work online, then Squarespace, I think, is the solution for you. And you can go to squarespace.com to start a free trial. And after that, if you'd like to make a purchase, just go to squarespace.com/James and you'll get 10% off your first purchase. And like I said, I've used Squarespace for a long time. Please sign up to my newsletter if you'd like to receive it. Yeah, and I just think it's a fantastic solution. So yeah, big thank you to Squarespace and thank you to you for watching. And I'll see you soon. I should probably go downstairs now and ask Noah why he's got pasta up his nose. All good fun. See you soon.